Dude, make sure it goes, Sean.
Checking on my end. Thing. Suggestion settings. Let's see.
Yeah, because once you do that, I gotta pop the chat out and shit.
There we go.
Good.
We're live.
All right, cool.
Stuff.
Sweet.
Tweet this, huh?
Doing it live.
Chickabo.
Stream, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Everybody.
What's up, guys?
What's up, boss?
Need to tweet this out.
All right,
Post
yeah,
it
everybody
to
get
Facebook.
set. But what's up, everybody? Here, thank you, of course, for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. Episode 248. Of course, the amazing crew from WTF Game Nation is here. Peanut butter and toast.
Hello.
Woohoo! What's up, guys? Thank you for having us, guys.
What's up? You can
I
see,
think I'm gonna make you guys call me Jelly tonight.
I kind of feel like the Brady Bunch right now.
That's kind of weird because Jelly's my sister, but hey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch. Hey.
I'll
New
be
things
bananas.
every
I'll
day,
be
man.
bananas. That's more like.
Banana butters? Okay, that works.
But yeah, we got a good one in store, obviously, guys. The summit is right around the corner. We had Warmind announced, so we got lots of stuff to talk about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Question is it Rasputin or Charlemagne?
Oh God, there's so many leaks right now.
so
We
many.
don't know what
Are
to
they
believe
leaks?
right
Are
now.
they
Everybody has a
leaks? Or are
different
they?
opinion.
That's the questions, man. So we got lots to talk about. Are you guys ready? Let's just do it.
Ready.
Ready.
Let's jump in.
Let's
Here we go. So Guardian Radio episode 248. And man, if you guys hear any wind, I don't know if there's a crazy storm or something getting ready to move through here in Charlotte. But all right, here we go. Wrong mouse. Damn, did you hear that? Could you hear that? Like the whole house just
No.
went like
We have crazy wind, too.
like a tornado.
Yeah, we do.
Where are you guys located?
We're in California.
Oh, geez, so you're not even. You're nowhere near me, man.
A storm to us means a lot less than it means to you guys. But
A storm to you means there's fire and mudslides.
yeah, there might be a 12 mile per hour wind.
We
I
have a
don't-
range of like 60 degrees to 80 degrees. 60 is
Right.
cold, 80 is hot.
Right.
crazy,
I had
man.
a cold front come in tonight, and it's like 62 here. So
All right, so here we go, guys. Let's do this.
I'm in
Let's go.
South Florida, so
It was like 80 here on Saturday, and then it went freezing on Sunday. It was ridiculous.
Weather's nuts, man.
I had to put sweats on to go to the grocery store. It was 62. It was ridiculous.
Shut up.
Oh, that's terrible. You
You're
had to
one
put
of those
sweats
people.
on? I don't think I've
Florida
been out of
people.
shorts in about 14 years.
Were you
I
also
don't
wearing
own a winter
flip-flops
coat.
with socks as well?
No, it was the socks. I was wearing flip flops, not socks. I just put
Right on.
All right, you guys ready? Let's do this.
Ready.
All right, here we go. Guardian Radio episode 248. Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. I am your host, Mark Turcott, and joining me this week, first up from inside his closet, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, dude?
What's up, boys? Man, this is gonna be a fun one tonight. We got a lot of big information, a big date that's coming up, some
Yeah.
sweet stuff to talk about, and the community summit, and we've got some feedback to talk about too. So, man, it's really excited. Been a great week. Next week's gonna be even crazier. So, can't wait to talk to the guys we have on tonight. So, let's go.
Definitely. And coming to us from the heart of Queens, our king of Queens, Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? I sound like I'm a little nasally right now, so I can't tell if it's a cold or if it's allergies, because it went from blazing hot on Saturday, 80 degrees, to all of a sudden cold again. Whenever it changes weather, I either get sick or it's the pollen season. So if I sound a
This
little
show
nasally
brought to
tonight-
you by Afrin.
Yeah, I know, right? Afrin, Claritin, Nasonex, all that sort of stuff. So let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do, man. And as promised, guys, our special guest, the fine crew from WTF Game Nation, Peanut Butter and Toast. Guys, what's going on, man?
Guys?
What's up, guys?
How you guys doing? Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. It's an honor to be here, guys.
Yeah,
I know
man,
what you
glad
mean
to have
by
you guys
with the
here.
sneezes, by the way. I get in the sneezing fit where I'll go literally 30 times in a row and I can't stop.
Oh,
It's
man,
the
you have like
worst.
the machine gun sneeze. I knew somebody
Yeah,
that did
exactly.
that.
It
It's
hurts.
just like,
It's
Joe,
painful.
Joe. I just-
No, I'm more of a pause in between, but it's
Oh,
still no
okay.
fun. So it actually takes up more time in my day. Man, it's ridiculous.
Nice. Well, guys, we're glad to have you here. I mean, unbeknownst to us, we didn't know you guys were going to get the community focus this
Yeah,
week. So
congratulations.
congratulations on that.
We didn't
Right on,
either.
Thank you. Yeah, it just kind of happened.
Just
Awesome,
kind of
man.
poof.
Nah.
We got a text that said, "Hey,
It's amazing.
Nice.
Somebody does raid carries and they're positive in the community and look, bam!
Ooh,
Well,
wow.
let me also say-
whoa,
Whoa.
We don't do
whoa.
carries.
We don't
Oh.
do
I said
carries.
that on
Assist.
purpose.
It's
I
Rageducation, baby. Rageducation.
I said that on
Well,
purpose. Is that
well,
what
tell
you guys
everybody a little bit
saying?
about
Yeah.
yourself, guys. You know, I know, your name has been spreading over the last few months, especially when it comes to positivity here in the Destiny 2 community or just Destiny community. So tell everybody who's maybe not familiar with you guys, just a little bit about yourselves, how you guys got going. What makes you guys stream every single day, essentially, the raid. Tell everybody. I don't know who wants to take it.
It's a long story. I can start.
Go.
Start and then I'll fill in.
Okay, so come with me on the journey, if you will. 17 years ago, got a little thing called Xbox. Xbox came out with a live version. I was a beta tester for them, so we were going through. My brother and I were hooking it all up, and we started going live on a game called Halo.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't live at that point. We got the Xbox from Halo.
What was the game called?
We went live on Ghost Recon.
Ever heard of it?
Yes, Ghost Recon,
And
man.
We spent the majority of our time playing Halo, which was an amazing. I mean, still gunplay still reigns supreme, even on Destiny. But that's what got us into the Bungie things.
See, and that was my childhood because he always played those games, and I would always see him going on. I was over there watching him play it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what got it all started. As far as the raids go, we started playing Destiny, and truth be told, I didn't even like Destiny when we were in the beta. I hated it. It was like, God, I can't believe I'm playing this. This is a crap game. If I wanted Halo, I would have just stuck with Halo. And we just kept going on and on and on, and eventually it kind of clicked, and it turned me on. And once I started and got to there, it was over. And he was kind of doing the same thing, but one thing led to another. I was always into raids, and I always helped a lot of my friends get through raids. And I'm chronically ill. I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but I have had a lung disease for 17 years. And it got pretty dark at times. I couldn't go out and do things, so I lived vicariously through gaming, through the live version of Xbox to get out there and make friends. So it was tough. I mean, it was a hard go for a long time. So I kind of, in playing Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, going through the progression, it kind of was that friend that I didn't really have access to. So it kept me going, and I met a few friends that I've been friends with for my whole entire life at this point, 17 years.
Wow, man.
So it changed my positivity. And then when Destiny started going with raids, I got tired of hearing kids get pooped on because they were young, they were squeakers. And I got tired of that LFG mentality of, hey, if you haven't done this thing 50 times, then you're out of here. And I got tired of people that screwed up the game, kept booting all the other people that were trying to just learn how to do this thing. So I got on. A friend of mine said, hey, dude, you got the personality. Everybody wants to play with you anyway. Why don't you stream? Why haven't you been streaming? And he convinced me to buy all this equipment and do all this thing. And I did a bunch of research. And then his wife told him he couldn't do it, so he had to back out. And I was stuck with all this equipment, and I thought, damn, man. And at the time, Toast and he had made some decisions growing up. I don't know if you guys are all aware of it, but we're father-son. And he had made some things that I didn't necessarily agree with, so we were kind of taxed at the time, and we didn't really hang out a whole lot. So I thought, wow, what better way could we get together and kind of bridge this gap? And
Right.
invited him to do it, and then you can kind of go from there.
It's kind of been ever since. So I kind of grew up with video games. I mean, even before Xbox Live came out and everything. Earliest memories I have were, playing Zelda and Mario, with my mom and my dad over in the living room of the house and everything. So it always grew up with video games. And then around this time, like he was saying, we weren't really talking for not about a year. Destiny came out, and we both played it separately on our own. We were both D1 beta players. And it was kind of one of those things that brought us back together. I'd come over for family dinner, and we would talk about video games. The topic of conversation was always the Galahorn and how Peanut couldn't get it. So I got it.
That's great.
I got it really quick. He got it 2 weeks before it got nerfed. So, but we started playing again, started hanging out, and we were raiding at the time. And this was kind of when Crota was out, and we would go through and we do LFG stuff, and it just like he was saying, man. You go through and you there's so many great people that we met on LFG, but there's also that standard stereotypical like toxicity that you run into where if you don't know the raid, then you're out of here. But
Right.
nobody wants to teach it. And it's just kind of like counterintuitive. How do you expect anybody to know how to do it if you're not going to teach it? And nobody wants to teach it. So that's kind of what we did for about a year after that. We would just go and raid on LFG all the time and teach people how to do the raids. And then, like you said, his buddy brought that up.
And a lot of times, let me just say, we changed the acronym for LFG to LFC because the majority of people that we ran into, they weren't looking for a group. They were looking for a carry.
So LFC.
So we started calling it
there you
LFC, and we started helping those guys get through. And when we started streaming day one, that's how we got our initial audience. We went to LFG every night and told people, "Hey, we're streaming, blah blah blah. Hey, we're new." One thing led to another. We had our first viewer, and then we had a couple other people come in, and they stuck.
And honestly, there's probably 5 to 10 of that initial group of people that we met on LFG are still regulars on the channel.
Yeah.
And
Great, man.
it's funny because like a lot of those people, they weren't actual Twitch watchers. So for some people, we introduced them to Twitch by saying, "Hey, we're on Twitch right now." And they're like, "Oh, what is that?" And they explain everything from that point. So, but yeah, I mean, because there was this whole carry mentality and in order to complete the raid, you have to get carried every single time. No one's learning off of that. And we just kind of had this idea of let's make the community a better place. Let's start teaching some raids.
And we kept hearing all these crazy numbers, like 1% of the actual player base has actually done hard mode raids. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
And unlike PvP, you have the ability to talk and find out how people are, and you have time. In PvP, everybody's so focused on that next kill or that next round or whatever, they don't really talk other than the communication in the game. In a raid, it's totally different. Right. You got time to find out how, Jimmy's grandpa's doing, and he's got, prostate cancer or whatever, and you find out. And that's where the beauty in it all lies, man. It's the connection. And Destiny has always had a community of really kind people. Until this whole identity crisis came up, this community was nothing but nice. And I came from competitive Call of Duty. We went through that whole phase, and it was just toxic. People would just be threatening the lives of your family members. And all it was like, really? And that was just kind of the norm. And then you came over here, and everybody was just nice. Wow, you're really good.
Yep.
What?
And I think a lot of that, man, is just the mindset of Destiny and what being a guardian in the game is. It's working together towards this common goal, and a lot of the game was built for that. And unfortunately, with Destiny 1, they didn't necessarily have the tools in the game for that. But I think that was almost a blessing because it created such a tight-knit community because people had to go outside of the game and they had to interact in other ways outside of just putting on that headset and staring at the screen, Yeah. And so like you said, you guys went to the LFG or LFC sites and you were able to pull people in and, show them Twitch, show them the raids. And
that was the beauty of the whole thing. We kind of think of ourselves as that proverbial pebble and the ripple effect of teaching somebody how to do the raid. And I can't tell you the countless messages that we get. Thanks to learning how to do these things with you, I was able to go back to my clan, and now I've got these guys doing prestige raids, and I can't get them to stop now. So we just kind of feel like, in a time of all this identity, and we don't know what we want or what we're doing or where we're going, these people are getting reinvested into Destiny. Yep. And it's a game that we absolutely love, man. And it means the world to us that we can get people excited about it again and just keep them continuing going. Because at the base, Destiny is a great game.
Yeah, Peanut, we've had this conversation numerous times where what other game out there, in my opinion, is like Destiny? You know what I mean? Like, okay, granted, some of the PvPers, they move to different games, but at its core, a semi-looter shooter with some PvP, with a 6-man raid activity, with open world exploration. There really is no other game out there right now to compete with.
No, there's not. There's not. And it's lucky for them. Yeah, it's been the saving grace. Had there been another company that had a game that was anywhere near Destiny, Destiny might be in a little bit of trouble. But in my opinion,
heard that before somewhere, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Are you talking about Division, the Destiny killer?
Yeah. Next one's Anthem.
Anthem. Right? Yeah,
but I mean, that's for us. We're excited about all these games, but I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive. For us, like we're excited for the idea of having kind of like your one Destiny one. I'm excited for Tuesday because that's reset. Friday is when Zerg comes out, and then the days in between. If there's another game that I can play. That's amazing. Absolutely. I don't want to just play only one game, but I love Destiny, and I don't ever have any desire to leave it.
I think the problem that we had with the whole, the community going negative was, people making a big grandstand about I'm leaving. Yeah. It's like, bro, just go play other games. You don't have to try and profit off of shitting on somebody else and saying I'm doing this.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, now I'm coming back.
I'm back. I mean, like the whole thing
is looking like it might be good again.
Well, that's what I keep saying, and maybe it's a product of just being old, man. I think that for me, there are things I still believe in loyalty, man. Destiny has never done anything but provide me hours and years of entertainment. Bungie has always created good games.
Yep.
So you know what? They got a little bit off track, and I got to say, some of that is my responsibility because as a game player, I don't really know what I want. I don't know what that next best thing is. I don't want Destiny 1 back. I really don't.
Yeah.
I want them to innovate something different. And in the days that are going and everything that we hear, it's, oh, well, you need to bring back the old weapon system. No, you don't.
Oh.
You guys are smart enough over there to come up with something that still serves the purpose, but it's different. I want something different.
Absolutely.
And that's, I agree with you guys. As far as the people that were the leaders of this community, I hold a lot of those guys responsible because they didn't have to create a panic. They could have gone out and said, hey, you know what? We've been playing this for 3 years. Let's go out and see what else is out there. Let's see what else we can entertain ourselves with.
Yep.
But it seemed like the whole goal was to convince everybody that was following and supporting to hate this game as much so that they'd follow you over to wherever you went.
I think what the problem is they were dependent on their incomes from the Bungie game. That then when all of a sudden it went negative, their incomes suffered. So that's going to cause all this angst and anger. When in reality, if they would have just been a little more constructive and said, in the meantime, let's go play this, let's go play that, I think this whole thing would have been different.
I agree.
It's like people love to live in an echo chamber and, you know, misery loves company. You know what I mean? So when one person gets all pissy and this and that, listen, look, I've been in my times with Destiny 1 where, okay, I got a little bored, so I'd be playing and covering Destiny 2, but then I was addicted to the Division for a long time. I used to cover that. Horizon Zero Dawn, glued to that, but still while playing Destiny. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But right now, I'm sorry, there's no other game right now that I think is comparable to Destiny.
We've been trying other games too. Far Cry's been fun.
And here's the thing, man.
It's nothing like Destiny whatsoever, but Far Cry's fun.
Exactly. And I think if you tie yourself, especially revenue wise, to one thing, you're going to end up having to deal with that.
Right.
And for me, and I say this all the time, man, I mean, until there's something that I want to go play, and it's hard, I'm not going to force myself to go play Sea of Thieves. Everybody's crying about how Destiny has no depth. Sea of Thieves, the deepest thing about that game is the ocean you're sailing on, man.
Yeah, literally, dude, you got nothing else to do in that game at all.
It's beautiful, and that's kind of it, you know.
And then there's always the free game, Fortnite. It's free.
Yep.
Right.
The thousands of dollars that are spent on skins, I don't know. But if Tess Effers offers to sell one thing,
they lose their
mind. You know what I'm saying? They
man.
lose their mind.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know. You know, I will say it's going to be interesting. I mean, myself, Toast, Sean, we're going to the summit here just in a matter of days. Yep. I mean, we're going to be there. The group that is going to be assembled there is, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, it's all, the top people and blah, blah. It's when I step back and look at it, it really is such a cross section of podcasters, streamers, YouTubers, big, all the way up to goth, all the way down
Reddit
to
mods.
There's
everybody.
Reddit mods. I mean, there's so many different people that are going, and I'll just say, I mean, I've been texting Sean a lot. Like, there's a group chat we have going on, and it is going to be very, very interesting to be in a room with all of these people because
is that what you're calling it? Interesting?
I'm just calling it interesting is all I'm saying, man, because
it's the same thing.
Because here's the deal, like everybody, we know what at the core of Destiny is wrong with it. Let's say everybody knows. I mean, people have been screaming it from the mountaintops, right? Even though us here, we enjoy it, we continue to play it, we enjoy the game. There are some things that could be changed to kind of bring in everybody, but everybody going to the summit, I think, has different motivations for why they play Destiny and what they want Destiny to be. And I'm almost more interested in hearing all of that and then just asking like Bungie flat out, like, what do you want this game to be? Do you want it to be a game where people can play 3,000 hours for 365 days? Or did you want it to be, or do you want it to be a 200-hour game that people get and they play on and off kind of just throughout the week or throughout the year, come back for expansions? What is it? And then I think once they decide on that, then they can focus it and really make it the best game that it could possibly be.
One is I see a lot of people thinking this is a big PR stunt. First off, if you see some of the people that are going to it, definitely not a PR stunt because there's clearly people who completely tapped out of D2 right now and they want their feedback. The second thing I want to point out is everyone thinks that they're going to walk in there with their demands and their sheet of paper. I want this, I want this, I want that.
Right.
we made no bones about it. We're allowed to say what was in the email. They're going to show us stuff and provide us with some gameplay, able to play some things, show us what they have planned for down the road, and ask us for feedback. Okay, I don't think walking in there with demands like I want this, take this out, remove this. That's not going to work. You know what I mean? We're there to help them. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing too. I've already seen people like threatening to put them on blast if they don't fix this dead game.
Oh, God.
It's like, really?
It's ridiculous.
How is that even possible?
So for me, this event, it's not a PR stunt at all.
Nope.
Obviously, you can turn anything into where you do get some sort of marketing out of it, right? So there is it's a capture event for part of it. We can capture content. We can show it at whatever date is disclosed and everything. But there is so much more focus on feedback than any other event that Bungie has ever put on, you know? And for all the people that are going, Bungie is all over Reddit, right? They're looking at all the stuff that's going on. I don't really think anybody can bring an opinion that they haven't heard before because it's all over the internet. So what I'm seeing this as is we heard you. We applied this to the game. Now let's sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
Is this what you're talking about? Is this?
Yep.
And there's never been a back and forth conversation before. There's always been, we read this.
Right.
Now we're going to apply it. And then after we push it out, then we're going to ask if this is what you wanted.
Well,
this
here's
is
the thing. Toast, they could have just as easily, like before D1 came out, before everybody played the beta, I was in the pre-alpha for the game, and they, I downloaded it on my PlayStation here at home, got to play the content. We had a forum we went on. We were able to, and I could talk about this because we had DJ on the show to talk about this, but we had a forum we could go on and type all that, but we never really sat down with anybody to talk to them about it.
Which is huge progress.
Which is what they're doing this time. They're bringing people out.
I love it.
Play it. We're going to show it. They're going to show us things that they, necessarily haven't locked into place yet. We can give the feedback and say, hey, we don't think this will work. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Here's some changes you should do. And we're sitting down with the developers. Maybe they can tell us why they're implementing the systems. And then we can say, hey, maybe that's not a good idea because of this. And then, but again, having such a broad spectrum of players, what may work for me as the guy who will only play, 300-400 hours a year, and say it works for me, it's not going to work for you guys or for Goth who play for 4,000 hours a year. You know what I mean? So like bringing all these different people in, that's the whole point of this. I don't know.
Well, I totally agree. And I think that it's really important for a lot of these. I've seen a lot of negativity about people that didn't get picked or this bandwagon that they got to fight for all these other people that didn't get chosen. I don't think this is going to be a one-off. I think this is going to be a continuing thing. So be positive, man. If you spread positivity, you might be the next one invited to the next round.
And I think that in order for this to really work, it can't be a one-off thing. It should be something that it's a continuous conversation.
Yep. Kata, what were you going to say here before we...
Well, I was just going to say that it's a situation now that, like, before when they got feedback, it was all typically some sort of text, right? Whether it be Reddit, whether it be Twitter, whether it be whatever, whether it be on the forums. That's typically how they get the majority of their feedback. Obviously, there's videos that can be made, whatever. But to have a direct conversation back and forth where there's no misconstruing what somebody's typing, because when somebody's typing something, how many times have you read something and it's completely off what you thought because context isn't taken into consideration, how they're meaning, all those different things. Having these live conversations, there's not going to be any, confusion of what this person wanted or asked of you and what you did about it. So then later on, if that change is made and this person that had something to say that they listened to and made that change, they then back up and go, well, no, I didn't. Nah, man, you were there in person. We know exactly what you meant. We know exactly what each other were thinking, and we were talking straight up and being, honest with each other. If that's the way that it goes down, this is going to be a really, really successful event, and that's what I'm hoping.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I'm really hoping above all hope that egos aside, everything else aside, don't get lost in the message, man. Let's get there, see what they have to say. Let's not live in the past. Let's not live in what you had to go through to endure to get there and do all the. Let's start from today and get this thing back on track.
Let's go with the same focus, the same goal in mind.
Definitely.
Let's make this a game that everybody wants to come back and play.
Yep.
Sure.
And of course, next week, guys, we'll be Sean and I will be back from the summit, so we'll be giving you all the feedback and all that we can. But guys, let's move on here past the summit, because we're going to talk. We got some good emails coming up a little bit later. We asked you guys last week to send us your feedback. We want to kind of go through some of the topics you thought we should bring up. Instead of doing that, I think, this week with Warmind being announced, we're going to talk about that. But then we are going to read some emails, and you guys did send some great ideas, and we'll talk about that towards the end. But let's move on here to Warmind, guys. This was officially announced by Bungie. We knew the new DLC, Season 3, was coming at some point in May. We have the date now. It's launching May 8th, and it is officially called Warmind. And we got a great screenshot. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I mean, it's in the update. I'm sure many people did.
It's gorgeous.
What is
man.
This thing? Is it? What do you want to call it? I mean, that's
the Warmind.
That's Warmind, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys see who was it that put it out? I saw Pope did it at some point, but it looks like the Warmind's just flipping the birds, like two birds, just like sitting up there. I mean, it looks hilarious.
Well, we were thinking it looks like the scope of the sleeper simulant. So
I don't know if you guys heard that. Apparently, I haven't done it, but apparently, if you zoom in directly on the center of the Warmind, it's the scope for the sleeper.
It's the scope for the sleeper.
Is it really?
And you know the best way to zoom in on said picture?
On an iPhone.
They've given links to the high-res desktop.
That's right.
In 1080p and 4K.
And 4K, which is sweet.
Go to the weekly at Bungie, this week at Bungie, and you go in there, there's links to both the 1080p version and the 4K version of that image, so that's great.
Yep. So on April 24th, there will be a dev stream. So we'll be firing up the Twitch studio again and showing all that off. The interesting thing there is they do mention how their new partners, Vicarious Visions, who's been, they're the ones that did the PC port, right? I think Vicarious Visions are going to be there. So it's sounding like they have done a significant amount of work on this expansion. Which, I don't know how much in the previous expansions and even in Destiny 1, as far as we knew, it was just a live team. But here it sounds like Vicarious Visions, unless they're there just to talk specifically about the PC, they may have actually had some work or some hands in this. But what do you guys think, man?
PC.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? There's been all kinds of leaks of people putting things out. I don't know how much we want to go into those, but...
So all signs point to the icy caps of Mars, because when you watch the ending Destiny 2 teaser where the light travels out and it goes from destination to destination. Right after Mercury, it does go over Mars, and you do see the icy caps of Mars. Eric Osborne, I was doing the Nightfalls with him last night. He actually retweeted I think it was a NASA Twitter account or something that was showing icy snow caps on the top of Mars, right? So I think that's definitely the destination. That's been a big leak. It's been out there for a while right now, I think. I think the Fallen are probably going to be up to some shenanigans up there, I think. If you do two... Yeah, Siva.
Maybe.
There's two adventures on Io. I forgot. One of them is called...
One of them is the one with the music, right?
One's with the music, and then I did one today that has something to do with Crash and Burn, or I don't like. There's two adventures on Io that's over by where you would pick up where, like you could go down into the bunker or whatever. Which kind of, like you hear your ghost saying icy caps, Mars, like something's going on there. I hope we see Siva back, because we just know that they're in D2. We've seen them in the concept art, but just they haven't made their head around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My hope is, we got to set our expectations properly, guys. I think a lot of us think that, this is going to bring everyone back. The way I look at it is that 1.1.4, in my opinion, made PvP and PvE more fun, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I have more choices of different weapons to use. I'm not stuck. I'm not using Nameless Midnight, the Prosecutor, or Uriel's Gift, and Sins of the Past. I'm using Linear Fusions because they buffed them by 50%. I'm using sidearms in PvE now because they do a lot more damage.
You can use anything that caters to your play style. That's the point.
That's true.
That's the beauty of these things, man. We keep saying it. They do these buffs and they do these nerfs, but it doesn't take the gun out of play. It just expands upon what you're able to use.
The term nerf isn't used like it was in D1. Now it's put at, it's not the only option, but it's still a good option that you can have,
Yep.
What I was saying is that so you take the fun of the shooting and the damage and everything, and then you tack on new story, new destination, new raid lair, new content. I think we're going to be in for a good time. I think if we're expecting like the way that Taken King changed everything forever, that's going to be in September,
Yeah. Yep.
But I think we're going to be in for a really good time, but I think we just need to set our expectations. I did hear Miss 5000 Watts say on the DCP, the Destiny Community Podcast, that Christopher Barrett, I think, tweeted out or said something. There will be secrets in this upcoming DLC. And I think what he mean by secrets, meaning something like, remember how we woke up and the Sleeper Simulant quest was there, or Outbreak Climb. So I think
that's what I was about to say, Shawnee. Outbreak Prime, baby, it's got to come back, man.
If they start throwing
Black
in
Spindle, something like
if they
that.
start throwing in some quests, like here and there, that's like secrets and stuff. Because I feel like I think they've captured the casual audience. Now it's kind of like bring the hardcores back. You know what I mean? Because at the core, and Peanut Butter and Toast tonight, I've talked about this numerous times. The game is a looter shooter. That's what it is. People like to shoot aliens and get loot. The PvE players always outnumbered the PvP players. And a big thing that I like too is the fact that when Josh and them announced 1.14, he said normally back in the old days in like D1 when a few weapons would get hot, so to speak, they would nail them and, hammer that nail back down, nerf them. But rather than that, they're bringing everything up. So Vigilance Wing, I love that thing in PvP, okay? And I know some people are annoyed by it, but the vibe I'm getting is that they're going to bring other exotics up to Vigilance Wing.
They said that.
Because Vigilance Wing, I mean, like, exotics should be better than legendaries. Because right now, I'm using more legendaries because they're masterworks. And masterwork weapons are coming in 1.2.0 in May. So you combine a buff to exotics. You combine masterwork exotics. I think we're going to be in for a good time in May, for sure.
Well, it's funny when you look at this concept piece. I mean, it really is, to me, is just reminiscent of Wrath of the Machine, right? It just kind of has that with the Siva, even though it's not necessarily Siva, just the red and the black and all that. And I see over in the chat, Stacy Roach mentions, and I know Bife did a good video about this, but about the potential Deepstone Crypt being a part of this, and deep down, being an Exo Titan at heart, I hope we just get something with the exos. And you're seeing with the leak, they were saying with this potential mode where they're maybe bringing the frames. And if you're not familiar with what the frames are, they're kind of just these, what do you guys want to say? Almost like Terminator-esque type robots that are just throw themselves at you. They have no conscience or anything. They're basically the exos without a conscience. I would love to see something like that, but like you said, Sean, I think we need to kind of set our expectations for what necessarily is going to be in here. However, I do hope they go down the road of just following the exo history a little bit, and that we do see the Deepstone Crypt somehow implemented into this with the Warminds. And is it Rasputin? I mean, those adventures that everybody's teasing or saying to go check out on IO do involve Rasputin. Was it Christopher Barrett that put out the or was it Urk that put out the tweet that had, I forget what it said, but it mentioned
the Aurora Complex or something?
Yes, that mentioned
that
the
was
Aurora
Complex.
He's been putting out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's been
recently.
giving a lot of teasers, man. And that's what led Bife to believe that the frames, because it says, bring back all the frames, and that complex thing wakes all those up.
Oh, that would be crazy, man. I don't know. Yeah. I hope it goes that route, but we'll have to see. And now,
even that's the good news too, because even Bife's like going into that whole thing now.
Yeah.
So when he's starting to take these little codes that Christopher Barrett's leaking out, the Russian
he's getting excited about it.
Yeah, he's getting pumped up, so you can feel that it's on the cusp of getting back. But like Sean said, it's steps. These are just steps. The first step was initiated. Now we got to get the left foot up there to catch up with the right. September is where this thing's going to be popping.
Yep.
I mean, it's like when everyone says, the Curse of Osiris is terrible. I'm like, did you not play The Dark Below? The Dark Below had 5 story missions.
And let me just remind you of this. Remember the grind when you were getting your exotic swords? That me was grind with no purpose. If you can grind to get these things, just like you did with the Segura shell.
Yeah, prophecy weapons.
You play the game during the grind. You don't go chest to chest to chest.
You had like 3 different options on each thing you had to collect. And I thought that was such a huge improvement. And then if you compare raids, I felt like the raid layer was a much better created raid than Crota was,
The raid layer reminds me of the experience of Axis, you know what I mean? It's constant call outs with
Templar.
Constant action. And the way that Peanut Butter and Toast know, as soon as they see those 3 elements,
they know,
all right, we need this, and we're going to break them twice. I'm like, how do they know where we're going? Like, and then you sent us that graph. And then you sent us that graph afterwards. I'm like, either I'm just too dumb to understand this. These guys are experts.
They're masters, man.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I just listen to what they tell me where to go and what to get, and I shoot it. That's what I do.
It was just back, even on Wrath of the Machine, you could tell when the servitors were coming out based on Siva, which was Solar turns into Void, Void turns into Arc, Arc turns into Solar. So you could always tell it's just the same line, except it's backwards now.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Let's talk about the roadmap a little bit, guys, because I got a couple tweaks in that on there. I mean, let's just jump to September. So we know here's what is coming in September, which will be Season 4. That will be the gear collections, records, which is that, I mean...
Please say that means record books.
That's what I was going to say, Sean. Is that record books? I hope it is.
That's what I took it as, too, yeah.
It's got to be, right? Yeah. The weapon slot changes, and then the weapon randomization, which kind of just had the community going bananas this past week with, what does weapon slot changes mean? What does randomization mean? Is this random rolls? What is it? Oh, Sean, what's the, right now, kind of what's the word on the street that everybody's thinking?
Well, everyone's arguing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a number of people
the Destiny community too. No.
Well, they want random rolls to come back, right? Yeah. And then there's a number of people that want the original Destiny 1 slots to come back, primary, special, heavy. I purposely like the way it is now because I like using 2 primaries. For me,
I do too.
It fits my play style. But if they could somehow accommodate like a PvPer who would like to have that experience, the player experience from D1 where they're running around with a sniper that's maybe in an energy slot, but they just get less ammo for it when they're playing PvP, give them that experience. But if they could somehow let me still have my experience with running a scout and a hand cannon or a pulse rifle and a sidearm, something like that. But with the record books, I just want to chime in real quick with that. I really hope they bring back that. Some people are just like, well, they didn't really give you much. It was just like cosmetic stuff. I don't care. It's one of those things. When you looked at that Age of Triumph record book, I didn't even care that I was getting anything from it. I saw a page incomplete and I wanted to complete it.
It was the old ghost shell hunt kind of thing. You wanted to get it just because you knew you didn't have them all, There's something to grind for.
Exactly. A big thing that, Christopher Barrett and numerous Bungie people have said is they want to make Destiny a hobby for us again. And I feel like part of that is logging in every day and seeing what can I do and leave this play session and feel like I got something done,
Connection to the game.
Record books does that. If they said in September, if bounties come back, and the reason why I like bounties compared to the system we have now is I feel like from a player experience, it was like a tangible thing. You went to the tower, you picked up a thing and said, all right, I got to kill 10 Hive Mage Ultras, or I got to kill XYZ Vex Minotaurs, or there were strike scoring bounties too. Whereas I feel like a lot of people miss when they log in to a destination, you've got your 3 challenges, and usually they're really easy. You know what I mean? Do 1 public event, declare 1 lost sector, and kill 1 Vex Hydra or something. So I think if they set up something, you know what? Give the bounties to the destination vendors. Go to Ashamir. He's got his IO bounties. Go to Nessus and Failsafe. She has hers and stuff. So this
even more than that with bounties. What I'm excited about the opportunity for that is the reason why you would do bounties in the first place is because it was a form of getting XP. Yeah. You could use it to level up your guns, weapons, your subclasses. Yeah. Yep. That's why you did the bounties. Yeah, it was fun to pick it up from somebody and then go back and turn it into them. But I think, number one, there was a purpose, a reason why you wanted to do it. And to me, some form of leveling is one of the things I really miss from Destiny.
Yep. Yeah. Leveling
everything is just handed to you. It feels
Dude, you guys remember? Remember when you got your Vault of Glass weapons? You couldn't use it for a day and a half because you had to go level it up.
You did.
Yeah. That was the fun. Hey, I got my Vision of Confluence, but I can't use it because I can't level it up.
Those
and you had
fun. That and you had to go do laps around the moon getting helium filaments.
So that goes back to what you were saying.
I don't want that.
Go play the game.
Let me play the game to get those helium, man. Let me play. Let me go do some strikes to get helium. Let me go do that. I love the Osiris grind.
That was a great time to catch up on YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so we mentioned bounties. These things are coming in the summer now. So here's another list. This isn't necessarily the May 8th. So for summer now listed is new seasonal event, which I'm going to call it right now is going to be the Sparrow Racing. I think that's going
to be 4th of July.
I think it's going to be somewhere like you think of like the Olympics almost, which even though the Olympics aren't happening this summer, I think that's going to be our time frame for that. Faction Rally improvements, which I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do with that. And then of course the bounties, PC clan chat, and then they're hoping that it will be the exotic armor sandbox changes coming with that.
Did they tease anything with Esferal, or that's just everyone? Because I've seen it a few times on Twitter.
I don't know, Sean. I mean, it says new seasonal event, so I mean,
Seasonal
SRL
event,
would be
okay.
new for Destiny 2. I mean, they could not. But what's the strike that in Curse of Osiris that you do on Mercury, where it has that sparrow?
The Tree of Probabilities
yeah,
or
it
Garden
just-
That's
World?
this week's Nightfall.
So
Yeah.
reminds me of a SRL map.
Yeah,
like when you're
it does,
shooting
yeah.
through that. I mean, it even has almost like the little half pipes on the side. It would be perfect. So like part of it, as soon as we were racing on that, I'm like, this is going to be an SRL map. Like that's what we're going to be doing here. So. Let's see. What else did they announce this week? We didn't mention with Warmind. Is it in here about the Crucible maps and the
this is a
new
big deal too.
thing
Yeah.
moving forward? I don't think they didn't. Where was that they posted that?
Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, take it.
So
If you got it right
basically,
there, the info.
If you own Warmind, if you own Destiny 2, right, but you do not own Curse of Osiris or Warmind, you will be able to play on all PvP maps from Warmind and Curse of Osiris in the base game. However, if you want to play in private matches, then you need to own Warmind for that.
DLC, right.
So this, to me, I think screams that less lag, because I always said, people hate me for this one, but I say fewer playlists, less lag. Because when you have a million playlists, and yes, I know everyone wants Rumble every single week, but when you have too many playlists, you're going to have some playlists that are completely empty, and then you're going to have a bunch that are completely full. Like for me, I'm never going to go near Clash if it's only Clash. I'm only going to stay in Control or Supremacy, you know what I mean? So the fact that you're going to let everyone play, because we used to have this problem with Call of Duty all the time. With Black Ops 2, to get gameplays, I used to uninstall my DLC because all the sweaties were in the DLC lobbies. You know what I mean? And then I would just get noobs in the regular base game maps. So I feel like that's going to help out a lot just in terms of lag and connection with people and letting everyone play all the maps, Yep.
I mean, it just makes sense, right? And I mean, I think it's even just I don't know, what's the right term? Not that it's necessarily a courtesy to those that don't get it, but it's just saying like, hey, you know what? Here's some new stuff. We're going to throw it at you if you don't want to put the money down on the expansion. Hey, at least we're going to allow you to play some of this new content. At least there's something new for you, even though you're not choosing to buy Warmind or choosing to buy Curse of Osiris. I think that's something that they should just carry forward and just continue to do that. And it's cool that it's going to be available to people that want a private match, because then, hey, now you paid for that map. You get the rights to play on that map whenever you want. Which I think they definitely should be doing. All right, let's talk about, this is something interesting that's going to be happening with the game when Warmind launches. And I'm going to read through this because there is kind of a lot here, but I think to understand it, you do kind of need to read some of this. So it's about power scaling and the changes coming to PvE. And they said one of the things we're changing up at the beginning of Season 3 is how your power level will affect the enemies you face. As you tackle a new campaign and start taking on activities above your current power level, you may find that the villains you face put up more of a fight. And so here's one of the combat design leads, Tomonori Kinoshita, to give us some ideas. And he says they're going to change the outgoing player damage scaling versus higher level combatants to be steeper, which essentially makes them more difficult, similar to the original Destiny. As a result, higher leveled combatants will take longer to kill than they currently do, but if you're at or above their level, you can still melt them like you can right now in 1.1.4. They're going to extend the outgoing and incoming damage scaling from capping at a 40 power level delta to a 50 power level delta. And currently in Destiny 2, he said the scaling only affects the difficulty of combatants up to 40 power levels above the player before plateauing. Increasing it to 50 adds a little more room for players to show off how badass they are. And it says when the combatants are 50 levels or higher above, they will be immune and display the classic question marks above the head. And
Which I honestly kind of miss seeing.
Love it.
Kind of cool.
OG Guardians are going to, of course,
area.
remember that when you stumble across the Hive and the Cosmodrome. And then another interesting thing, change the combat energy fields to fulfill the following. Matching energy element damage to shields is most effective, roughly 3 times damage plus the current shield detonation, followed by a non-matching energy, which is roughly 2 times the damage, and kinetic damage won't have any bonus damage multiplier. And then to further incentivize the matching game, there's a 3-time multiplayer for matching the damage type that is not affected by the damage scaling of higher leveled combatants until the combatants display the question mark nameplates. Say all that 5,000 times fast, but essentially what they're doing is making it where the game's going to be a little bit harder, right? So when you are under leveled, when you are not of level, it's going to be difficult, probably like it should be. And if you look at the fact that we have the heroic strike modifiers coming in, to me, as soon as I started reading this, I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. We're going to have the burns again on the heroic strikes because that's what they're doing here. Basically, they're going to make the burns.
I think where this is intended, whether it's obviously it's on purpose, but I think what's going to happen here that people aren't thinking about is when the next raid comes out, it's going to be a mother. So the last raid that came out, the first day, raid day, man, people flew through it in a record time, and that's not going to happen because you're going to have that huge delta. Obviously they're going to give it time to level up and whatnot, but there's going to be a significantly higher delta than there has before, and it's going to be a son of a gun to get through that first raid.
You think we're have to deal with that? Because I could honestly
see Toes
see
smiling.
this next raid. Well, I could, based off of everything that's been going on, it seems like this upcoming raid is going to drop at 330, which is what our current power level is.
Yeah.
And then when Prestige comes out, that's going to be the 360 or whatever.
Right.
We're kind of all assuming that 365 with mods is the cap. But I would love it if I have to level up before the raid. I would really like that. I just think we're going to have it drop at 330 when it first comes out.
Will. And we're already at that level. So.
And then with the Prestige raid layer that's supposed to come out, I mean, we don't know how leveling with that is going to work. Again, I would really like to have to level up to get ready for it.
Yeah.
But if they're making that still accessible to people who got Curse of Osiris, they're locked in. They have to make it a Prestige.
If they're talking about us encountering enemies with question marks, I mean, maybe that's in a Nightfall. Where are we going to find that? It's it's going to be in the raid, right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, that's the hardest content that there is to tackle, supposedly.
I would hope, but I don't think it's going to be there. I think you'll see it a lot in Patrol, and then in some Nightfall areas too. If you right now we have this Nightfall challenge card that currently you can put up to a 45 handicap. But if you're under leveled at all, you're completely just adding to that handicap. If you go in at a 3, you don't have any mods on, you're a 330. You're now dealing with 50 handicap. I guess at that point it'd be 45. So if you're a 325, you're dealing with a 50 handicap already, and you're only like 5 levels lower.
Yeah.
So I think that it's making sure that if you want to do a Prestige Nightfall, you better be max level in order to do it and max out your challenge card.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but this should be in place. This same power scaling come September, right? And then when we get that one, oh my God.
Yeah, that one we're definitely gonna have to level for. Yeah, right. That's gonna be. I mean, like Sean said earlier, it'll be like this version of the Taken King. It would reinvent however we're playing the game currently, and then probably completely re-level up too.
Because the Taken King, I always said, I'm not sure if they use this terminology, but it introduced the questification of Destiny, right? Where everything was a quest, Right. Do you remember like the quest for like the Boolean Gemini?
Oh yeah.
Or some of those ones where literally you were there. I loved them, but like you were there for days with Varrox and was it Petra? Petra. Right? You were there for days going through story missions with them to finally get to that thing.
And hope you found enough people in that thing to get the big champion guy, or you were in there forever.
Oh, yeah. When Taken King first came out, those guys destroyed you. So and that would be your question mark scenario right there. You haven't leveled up a little bit. Right. Those champions will be just straight up question marks. They'll one shot you. They'll breathe on you and you'll die.
Yep. Because D1, I feel like it had the content for casuals, but then it also had the content for the hardcores, right? So someone could log in and play the Taken King and just mess around. They could do strikes. They could play PvP. They could go explore the Dreadnought. But then the nut jobs like us are going to grind the Court of Oryx, those with the chest of gnashing teeth and those worm singer runes and
random secrets to discover and solve puzzles. Loved it.
And figuring all that stuff out. I know I just thought, but sometimes when you're on one of the is it Titan or is it on Io that you could look up and see the Dreadnought still sitting there?
Yep,
it's on Nessus.
It's on Nessus.
It's on Nessus. It's weird looking up.
Oh no, the Dreadnought. No. Yeah, you're right. It's Titan. I was thinking you could see the Leviathan from Nessus.
It's like I look up there. I'm like, man, we were there at one point. You know what I mean? Because we know with that cutscene after Mars, it goes to the reef. You know what I mean? So I wonder if we're gonna go to the Dreadnought at some point again. You know what I mean?
We were thinking we would.
Well, in that post-credit cutscene, you see the Dreadnought.
You see it, yeah.
Maybe they crash into one another or something.
Yeah, or that's that'd be cool. Or the Leviathan would eat the Dreadnought.
Oh, totally.
Oryx has a sister, correct? And
he has
that's
two.
Got two sisters.
He's got two sisters, right? They're going to come back and they're going to be. If he was mad enough at us for killing his son, they're going to be mad at killing their brother.
So Savathun's song, that strike, Savathun is one of his sisters.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
With that, that's probably like next December.
But
or
didn't
this
he try
upcoming
and
December.
kill them anyway? I mean, I thought that they weren't like friendly anyway.
Yeah, no hyper friendly. You want to kill them all.
But yeah, so there's a lot coming with Warmind. I mean, obviously we're very close to getting some details on this. When was the stream again? The 24th?
The 24th. By the way, I
24th,
wanted to mention something.
Yep.
So, if people weren't expecting it, do you guys remember the stream that came before the last DLC when they were going to show the content and what's going on with the new DLC?
Yeah.
What opened the stream?
What?
The new trailer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a new trailer. Yeah,
April
Definitely.
24, when that stream opens, it's going to open with the new trailer. I guarantee it.
That
Yeah,
was a
and
hard
it's gonna be
question.
brilliant.
Stumped us all with that one.
Yeah, right?
And it was
No,
not a
but
hard
yeah,
Well,
I
I
will
would-
get the trailer on the 20th. They
I was
actually
just-
said as much too. We're getting it on the 24th.
I was going to respond to Sean over there in a second. I was going to say, hey, you know what made Destiny 1 better? Destiny 2. I don't remember about you guys, but I remember a lot of complaints about Destiny 1, and those all went away when Destiny 2 came out. So
They're never going to satisfy everybody. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Someone's always going to complain about everything. You know, the bottom line is, I don't know. I'm not
Before we
gonna go
move
there.
on
You can't
from
make everybody
the-
happy, Sean. What are you talking about?
you can't do it on the internet. What? No, before we move on from the timeline and the roadmap, I want to say that I really liked how there's been consistent updates.
yes.
We've never seen that before. You
Nope.
know, April right now is the only time over the past 4 months that we haven't had an update.
Right.
And now there's all this stuff going on. It's all prepping for something that's happening in early May. And then even on the roadmap now, we see something in summer as well. Again, going back to D1, summer was stale because nothing new was happening.
Nothing. Nope.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a 4th of July type situation.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
And what's
Okay.
cool too, Tos, is even if they do change just one little tweak or move something on the roadmap, they're instantly tweeting about it. They're mentioning it in the weekly, this week at Bungie. So much more transparent when it comes to some of those things. And I know there's people out there saying, "What do you mean they're being transparent? What do they mean by weapon slot changes?" Like, they'll get there. Just this is better than nothing right now, guys. I mean, we've never had this before, so take it for what it is, and kind of enjoy the fun of speculating. I mean, that's how this podcast has survived as long as it has. It's just going on the air and talking Destiny. I mean, that's some of the fun parts of Destiny. Let's see. In the update, they do mention two different charity streams going on. The one they do every single year, the Men in Kilts charity, is going on. So if you want to help donate to that, go check that out on This Week at Bungie. And by the way, one of the things that is pretty interesting. Actually, let me pull it up here.
Prize.
Yes, some of the incentives that you can get are pretty
Pretty
bananas.
cool. Yeah.
$1,000 to that will give you a Bungie studio visit with a guest. That they'll kind of help work out with you when it is, and then 2,000 gets
The
you
last
that,
one is that one. The last
as
one,
well as
2000
a
is
piece of
ridiculous.
custom concept art featuring you.
That's awesome.
Created by one of the
Nice.
Bungie folks, which is pretty sweet, definitely. And then also the 5th anniversary of the Gauntlet tabletop fundraiser, yet another fundraiser that they do. And again, just amazing prizes that they're doing. They're actually going to do a virtual pentathlon puzzle hunt. $1,000 gets you that, where you get to kind of take part with the Bungie team, and up to 12 of your friends invited to take part in that, which is pretty awesome. So
I'm trying to find it. I'm looking through here, but they use the word Comet, and one of these rewards says you can get a art or something to be determined for our upcoming Comet DLC. Because remember, they used in that original roadmap,
Yep.
Comet was
Right.
the name for the Taken King. So everyone ran with Comet's the next DLC. Well, yeah, that's their code.
Can't find
Movie
it. Yeah,
titles
let's
or
see.
anything. They always have a code word for new stuff. I'm trying to find it right now. I can't. But one of the prizes, it says something. You'll get something from the next Comet, our upcoming Comet DLC or something. I can't find it.
Nice. Tomorrow, as of this recording, which many of you will probably already be taking part in it by the time you hear this, 6v6 Iron Banner is deploying.
Control.
How's everybody feeling? I mean, what are predictions you think on this? Is this going to go off without a hitch?
I
Everybody's
wish
gonna love
that
it.
they would adjust the maps accordingly for the 6v6, man.
I'm
think they will.
excited. I'm slightly. I'm very curious to see how it plays out, but I am excited
me
to play 6v6.
Yeah. I think
I
you're
really
gonna-
like that it's coming back and it's specific to Iron Banner whenever 6v6 is around.
I think you're going to have a crap ton of 4 different maps.
Yeah.
because they, you know,
Vostok.
one of the biggest. I mean, the Venus map that we love, that'll be in there.
Distant Shores.
Yeah, Distant Shores. But you know, there's only one of the biggest issues that we've had in Destiny 2 so far has been spawn problems. And now that it's 6v6 and the maps that they've already made, you know, they were intended for 4s, but there's still some maps that work fine with 6s, but there's like 4. So I think you're going to get a crap ton of 4 different maps. Occasionally, maybe mix in one or two others, but I think you're going to see a lot of Distant Shores, you know, a lot of those things. But I think it's going to be great. I
wouldn't be surprised if they brought a D1 map back tomorrow as well, because they've been
Distant Shores is D1.
No, but a new.
Man,
I think that'd be great. What a great opportunity!
Because
to bring
every
back
single
some
time any new events going on, they've been dropping a new map. They dropped what used to be the Burning Shrines with Crimson Doubles. When did the Venus one come back? That was over the Dawning, wasn't it?
What was, and it's I'm losing my mind. What was the map that had the cannons on it?
Twilight Gap.
Twilight Gap. That would be sick. There's
Widow's Court. Everybody would freak out if Widow's Court.
Yeah, Widow's Court. We talked about Widow's Court last week. Yeah, Widow's Court for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
what an opportunity!
We talk about all this stuff. Yeah, we talk about all this stuff all the time, and you know the biggest thing right now is people are saying lower TTK, lower this, lower that, lower. Just design some maps that slow down the whole, you know, team shot meta. You want that to go back. It's great. You sped it up a little bit. But so much of that stuff can be dictated by map design.
Yep.
You can't just throw in Rumble and put whatever map on. If they're not designed for those kind of things, you're going to get spawn camping. You're going to get all that crazy stuff.
Yep.
And that's all it takes, man. Sometimes just a little adjustment and making these maps with that in mind could help immensely as far as the PvP experience.
Yep. Well, speaking of just slowing the PvP down, what did you guys think of the 6 Rumbles?
It was better than 8.
I
like the idea of 8-man Rumble, and on paper it's we already have 8 people in this, so why don't we just make it to where they're all against each other? And six-man Rumble is really fun, and I really like how fast they actually made it 6-man Rumble, you know. And then it launched on Tuesday, and it was 8-man, and then within an hour, we found the problem. We've 6-man again. No, it was fun. I missed Rumble. I think having it back is just a fun game mode in Crucible. Probably the most fun for me currently.
Yeah, because it was kind of weird. Like, I'm never a Rumble guy, and I actually liked the 8 just because it was almost like mini mayhem, just with the spawns being bad, and it was just like craziness happening on the screen. However, switching over to 6 this week, it was much more. It was a slower pace, but I felt it was more methodical for me. Like, you know, I just felt like I could actually sit, like, hunker down in an area of the map and kind of just wait for people to come through. Or, you know, just as I was I just felt like I was moving more strategically through the map. Where with 8-man, it was just complete chaos.
8-man Rumble was fun. like the weekend of the Promethean Lens was fun. It was fun because it was broken, but I don't know if I want it back.
It's like mayhem without supers.
Yeah, it's fun to be broken, but I don't know.
Not regularly.
Test this water again. But that was the beauty about 6v6 PvP anyway, because you could get out of a raid, and then you could go with your whole team and go right into just bullshitting and playing some PvP to grind.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get the whole competitive thing. I've never seen Destiny as a competitive, like, not esport competitive.
PvP for me has always been, oh, cool, I finally got this really cool gun. Let me go show it off and flaunt it by killing somebody with it.
The funny thing is, all these changes that happened to D2 that the PvP community crapped all over was all geared towards making it more esports-ish.
Sure. Yeah. No,
That's
absolutely.
exactly why they made those changes. And then the people that asked for those changes crapped all over it. And so now here we are. Okay, never mind. But let's go back to what we would do the way that they were going to begin.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, I think that Bungie has always gotten expertise from some of the creators, from some of the people that play the game. And to me, I mean, this is a way that they can say, hey, look, we went to the community and it's still screwed up. So, you know, you guys got to take a little bit of this blame now with us. You know, we went to you guys, you gave us this, you guys still say it's shit. So you gotta take some of that burden with us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas before, I think that they were still getting that advice from people. It was just anonymous, so nobody really knew. And now it's like everybody wants to take credit if it goes great.
Right.
But the truth be told, this whole thing, all the stuff that you guys are going to play has already been coded. It's already been in. It's not like they're going to go back and say, okay, well, let's scrap that whole thing and we'll just start over. It's already in the thing.
I think this is more of a, is this the direction you want us to go?
Right.
So.
Yep.
I hope Rift comes back, man. I miss Rift dearly.
I'm not talking to you anymore, Sean.
I
You don't like
Rift?
Rift?
It likes Rift.
Dude, you know what I hated about Rift? It was
When you
always
against
like
the
me
team?
and Toast. It was always like me and Toast. And in
Versus the
Rift,
team.
you always win against teams.
Yeah.
So if
I
you went in
know.
with one or two people, you got shit on, period.
Yeah, you did.
That was it.
Yep.
I know.
And you
If
just
I went in-
you watch these guys like you running around grabbing, doing backflips and shit with a fucking orb, and you're thinking, oh god.
D1
Get me out of this
PvP,
thing.
I used to always play solo until the final summer of it, and then I connected kind of like with a childhood friend, and now that's all he does is play PvP all the time. And I think when I played Rift with him, yeah, we get stacked against teams nonstop, and that's what I would turn it into. I'm just going for I'm padding my kill death ratio for this particular game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't worry. The chuckling didn't escape us, man. We knew you guys were all in your room going, these guys, man. Look at these solo guys, dude. Slam. Yeah, I got you.
But
It
I do
was
remember
pretty
that.
satisfying to slam that rift down, man. It was always just
really
like,
was.
It was.
Really
backflip
was.
Back
it
in
too.
there,
The
doing
backflip was
moonwalk and
epic.
stuff.
The backflip was epic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that the one time they made Iron Banner Rift the first time.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
Everyone hated it and everyone
Oh
loved
God, I
it.
loved it.
I loved it
Yeah.
because I was rolling deep.
Yeah.
Yep.
6-man team. We
Yep.
were just rolling over people. But if I was by myself, oh no way, I'm gonna play it. 'Cause that was back
That's
when you
Iron
get
Banner
the
traditionally
Valiant.
all around, right? You
Yeah.
want to have a team.
Yeah.
It's way more fun with a team.
When I solo queued on that, all I did was defend. I just defended
Yeah.
because then other people will go do so. At least you can stop somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're solo queuing in Rift, just defend. That's
Yeah.
the best thing. It's the best way to go. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's a good idea. I wish I would have done that. I was the guy out there running. What are you guys doing?
Right.
Come on, let's
Yeah.
go.
Right. Yep.
he was the guy trying to backflip.
Yes.
One more thing here before we move on to the clan spotlight and some emails here. I want to talk about the D.F.A. Who was lucky enough to grab one of these this week?
I got it on my first Nightfall,
Oh my goodness.
You're fired.
but
Christ.
it took over 30 for me to get it. The sniper 2 weeks ago, so this is
you were
it evens out.
Averages
were
out.
I
Peanut
got it
just
on
got
my
this.
on my
Right?
fourth run.
I got it
And
on
I-
PS4.
I got it on my fourth run, and then last night I was helping Pope and Eric Osborne out, and I got another one on the third run, I
Oh,
think.
jeez. That's crazy.
But then the sniper took me 3 runs, so I know the next weapon is going to take me 2,000 runs
Yeah.
to get.
Yeah.
'cause I
Yeah,
can't be
I
that
hope
lucky.
so. I hope
Oh,
so.
so
Oh, thanks,
Peanut this
Peanut.
week it was
I got
him.
mine on my 34th
Yeah.
run.
Oh,
and
man.
and in the amount of time it took for me to help him out for her to get it, I got 3.
Now, were you doing regular? Because we were just doing regular Nightfall.
Yeah,
We
we
started
were doing
last
speed
time.
runs, man.
We started Prestige, and then after doing them, we just couldn't get the drop for him. We were like, "Screw it, let's just speed run it."
So I don't have a DFA because, and if you can only see this if you're watching.
Aw.
Yeah, I've
A
been
puppy.
shopping for a puppy. So you'll see this little guy on
you
the
have to
show
name
now.
him D.F.A., Caleb. That's what you got to
Yeah,
name him.
well, I
How
don't,
many Nightfalls did it take for you to get that puppy?
you know what? A lot of Nightfalls and a lot of Glimmer.
Part of me wants to think, though, the gun should have a higher chance of dropping with
Yeah.
Prestige and with Score, because right
They
now...
keep saying that, but I don't ever see it. The only ones
I
I
don't
hear, I get that
yeah.
one guy that comes in and goes, hey, guess what? We didn't even break 20,000, man, but I got it on my first
Yeah.
run. I'm sitting there trying to sweat this thing out for 100.
They did say that
It was supposed to be tied
it
to
was supposed
Score,
to be
right?
like that, right? Doesn't seem like it though.
I think it was
Yeah,
supposed to
it's
be
weird.
tied to your personal best or something like that. So I don't know if it was based on a threat. I
The
don't
personal best will go
Again,
in and just dance
I
the whole
think
time
those
like the
guys
rest of
at
your team
Bungies
carry.
are back there chuckling again like they did in
know.
Rift.
Yeah.
They all think you got to get over 100 to get it.
Oh my god.
I think that it
What
should
the
be
puppy?
tied to how you actually do
Score,
it. If you have a
yeah.
high score and everything, it should be tied to
Yeah.
that. Not to a crazy degree.
Yeah.
Because what we have right now with Lost Sectors is people are going just doing the best score you possibly can. There's
Cheese
always
it.
going to be a way that people can cheese the Nightfall. Even after they fix it, there's going to be something people can do to cheese it.
How would you guys
So
feel?
you can't get it.
how would you
but it
feel if
should
they
be scanned.
implemented a system like what was with, remember Prison of Elders had something like that, where you would go in, you get your score, and you had to get like 75,000. And so most, you go through one run and you couldn't always get 75, you get like 40,000. So you had to do a second run. What if they tied these weapons somehow to that? Obviously, they don't want you doing 2 runs. Make it where, hey, if you're not that great, you can run it on easy, but you need to get 500,000 points total. So it may take you, if you're an awesome runner, you can do it in 2 runs because you're doing the Lost Sector little cheese, and you can do it in 2 runs and run the score up. Or you're just speed running it like you guys did, and you're only getting 35,000 a pop. You run it X amount of times, but you're guaranteed you're going to get it when you hit 500,000.
See, here's the thing with that, and we talk about this all the time too. In D1, Vault of Glass, how many times did you go through that raid and get a full set?
Never.
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 How many times does it happen on this Leviathan? All the time.
Yep.
And now you can
That's
buy
due to
the
player
stuff from
feedback.
Bennett.
That's due to player feedback. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing that really, you talk about the things that have replayability, but they've taken them all out. So now you can go do one raid, you get all the goot, you get all the loot. Especially if you do a prestige. You do a prestige with us, you got everything.
I like
RNG.
this week, as even though I got the D.F.A on the first run, I like this week as much as I like the Nightfall when it took me 35 runs to get the sniper.
And
I
that's
like
the
RNG,
thing.
but I do think it does need to have some sort of progression to it.
I don't know that it has to
not a
have a
guarantee.
guaranteed.
No, not
I
a
don't
guarantee.
like a guaranteed drop. I think
I don't
that
know.
RNG always has to play a role.
I don't know. I think doing it. Let's say that they give you a 10% increase on a drop each time. So the max times that you had to do it was 10. So if you didn't get it on the 10th run, you got it. I think that's reasonable, honestly. To have to run something 30 freaking times. I mean, obviously you love doing it. It's great, but not everybody has that time.
So
Well, that's true, but I ran 1,700 hours before I got my Galahorn.
Yeah.
You know what? I bought mine from Zer.
Omnigol.
He got
You guys
it
remember
a
the
week
weekend
before
when
Zer sold
Omnigol?
it the second time.
No, the second time.
Yeah, no, he
Because
got it a
never
week
got
before they did.
Yeah, I never
That's
got
crazy.
it. I ran that raid a million times and never got it. Got everything else, but never got it.
Yeah.
Your idea of like having an incremental chance of having it drop,
Yep.
it kind of reminds me of how faded engrams work right now.
Right.
Where let's say I have only 5 exotics that I'm missing, and one of them is the Orpheus rig, and I really want to get the Orpheus rig. Every single week, it's like, okay, not this week. Only 4 chances left. It takes away that excitement of the drop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm missing
okay,
here.
there are
Yeah, I
10.
agree.
Nope. Okay, 9 more times. Oh, 8 more times. You just keep on going like that. And then right now, everybody is talking about the D.F.A. It's all over Twitter. You see people posting, here's the clip of when I got it, because they're excited. If they know they have 10 tries, the excitement's not going to
gone. Yeah.
I
And
don't know,
just
because
like
you still got to go run it 10 times.
Yeah, but
you know?
no, he's
Yeah,
right,
but
dude. He's right.
It's
He's right.
and the same thing. We had a fellow guy that does some stuff. 15 hours to get that original sniper. That sniper's not that good, but they were playing it for 15
because you wanted
hours
to collect it.
because it becomes to that point where it's like, you know what? F this, man. I am getting this gun. I'm
That's
not going to
right.
stop playing until I get it. Well, bingo, you've got replayability.
And then
And if you
after
don't-
15 hours, the feeling of just excitement that you get because you saw it drop, that's what everybody's saying they want back from Destiny.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you guys on that. But the reality of it is the majority of the people that buy this game don't have that time. And that's the issue that we've had is Bungie made Destiny 2 to cater to the casual because there are more casuals than there are hardcores. If you want to sell millions of copies of games, you have to cater to somebody that doesn't have, 80 hours a week to put into this game, but it's a very fine line. You have to do both, right? So what I'm saying is at least give the person that doesn't have that, the single dad that has kids or the parents that whatever, that only can play, a certain amount of hours a week, or the people that get up at 5 a.m. like Mark and I, like I used to, and play for an hour in the morning. And that's the only time that they have. They know at least they've got maybe 10 hours total in the week to play. And if that's the case, that you can at least accomplish getting the thing that everybody got.
Yep.
That's the only thing that I'm talking about. Like
There has to be some things though, man. I think that
That's
not
the
everybody
mentality.
can get. And
that's it.
Peanut, I last week was called an elitist because I say one of my favorite times of Destiny was year one. Running Vault of Glass was the only way to hit max level.
Yeah.
And I agree that it did suck for some people if you couldn't get the clan together and all that. However, that was just the time where I was so excited to log in every week, run the Nightfall again, and then run the raid again, and like always thinking, is this my week I'm going to get the boots?
You would
Shit, I didn't get the boots. Let me run it again. The next week.
Oh, yeah.
This might be the week. This might be the week. And
So for year one,
man.
I was by our standard, I was more of a casual player than I am now. I mean, now I stream it, so I'm
Right, you
putting
guys
all
are-
these crazy hours into it.
Yep.
But year one of Destiny 1, I didn't do a crazy amount of VOG runs. I actually didn't hit max level before Dark Below came out. So, and it was because I wasn't able to do enough runs for it. But I prefer that way. Because I wanted to play it every single week, and I was upset that I couldn't play because I didn't have the time to play it.
Yeah.
So I've kind of seen both ends of casual and the hardcore aspect of it, and I liked not being able to hit max level until the next DLC came out, and it was like, all right, this time I'm coming around and I'm going to be able to do it.
And
I had
actually
Forever
think that
29
the true
going.
casuals don't really care that much about it. I mean, yeah, it's fine if you're really just like the main casual. When they say you're casual, you don't really care about that because you got other things. You're busy. You got other stuff going on anyway. If you didn't get it, I'll get it next time. Whatever, I'll try it again next time. I don't think that the casuals are as passionate about the replayability and all this other stuff because they've got loads of stuff to do.
Yeah.
The guys that play this game and grind this game, they're the ones that burn through the content. And that's, it's funny because we hear it all the time. Well, are they going to make it come out too soon and we're going to have to grind? Dude, the biggest, most fun part that we have is locking up on Pop-Tarts, Green Monster, and getting ready to go for like 18 hours a day to grind through this stuff.
And then there's still real life stuff to take care of too. So I just spend a week without sleeping, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's like Christmas for a week.
That's what you casuals need to keep in mind. Stop sleeping so goddamn much. Get up a little bit early. Instead of 5, get up at 3 and play 2 hours a day.
As the medical professional, the pharmacist here, I would like to say that sleep is very important. So please make sure you're getting your sleep.
Mark, do you remember the tweet that I put out in D1 when the whole the Red Bull thing came out, and I bought like 3 cases of Red Bull and took a picture of it on my desk at work. I'm like, let's go! Oh my god, that was fun.
Dude, I remember the drink that came out for Halo, man.
Yes, that like orange.
Mountain Dew. Yeah, it was God, what
Code
was it
something, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
No, but oh man, it was so good. I remember like Gamer Fuel or something they called it.
Yeah, it was Game Fuel. Game Fuel
for Halo 3, man. That was the one.
Hell yeah!
Remember that?
Yeah. That's a good times when you could actually eat whatever crap you could put in your body and wash it down with whatever toxic bull bile or whatever you can.
I love video games.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. All right, well, let's move on past that, guys. Let's talk about our clan spotlight, part of the show where we give you a clan to focus. However, this week it's a little bit different. So, Kata, who do you got this week, man?
Yeah, I do. So in it's charity week coming up for Bungie, and in that light, we had some friends that we want to spotlight, and it has to do with charity, and it's the Saint 14 project. And the Saint 14 and Stack Up charity stream is coming. So this is from Chris 3711, he says, I'm an ambassador for Saint 14 project, and we have a Destiny clan. I was wondering if we could get a shout out on the clan portion of the Guardian Radio, and also for our upcoming charity stream on May 19. We at Saint 14 focus on mental awareness and breaking the stigma of the illness, and all proceeds go to charity. We will be doing raffles and offering help live on stream. No one is obligated to donate. The support of just showing up is enough. And this stream is also in support of Stacked Up, who also focuses on veterans and suicide prevention, as well as mental awareness. I know you probably get asked this all the time, but it would mean the world to me. And no matter what you decide, I'll continue to sponsor you guys. But that's not why we're doing this. So the reason we want to let you guys know is when this stream is, and go to check it out because it's a really good charity. But it's a charity stream for Saint 14 and Stack Up, the Overwatch program. And there's if you go, we'll tweet it out again. But if you go to the Saint 14 project on Twitter, and they've got a list of who's streaming when. But it starts at 11:45 on May 14. They do an intro, and then I think Belle's in the chat over there too. She's going to be streaming on there.
3 p.m. Eastern.
But yep, so she's at 3 p.m. Eastern. But there's a bunch of really great people that hey, we're going to support, and it's a great charity. Go check out the Saint 14 project on May 19th, and hey, give them some support and give them some donations, and it's a great cause. So
definitely
go hit it up. There you go.
Yep.
Dude, if we can get a link of that too, man, we could definitely shout that out too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Send it over to you guys for sure.
Yep.
It sounds like an awesome thing.
All right, let's move on here to some emails, and we're just going to roll on here, guys. This show, we're rolling with this one. This email comes to us from Keb267, and Keb says, "Hey guys, I think they need to make it harder to get to max power, harder to get some OP exotics, armor with better perks, and random rolls. Will they be adding these back in, or what will they be adding to replace them to keep us wanting to go back? Back in D1, that's what kept me going back. Exo Hunter main." And that's kind of what we were just talking about, I think, a little bit of just the idea of making it difficult to hit that max level. I mean, there was a time in Destiny 1, I forget when they did it, but I think it was like when they made Iron Banner an endgame activity and something else. Which Iron Banner, sure, you had to be power, quote unquote, mattered at that point. But I just remember them saying, like, we want Iron Banner to be an endgame activity. And that's when you started to see the shift to, okay, well, you don't need to run the raid every time. And then Infusion came in, and that just totally threw everything for a loop.
Everything, yeah.
So I don't know. And again,
I just remember Sean not being able to get those damn boots.
My raid shoes and my raid glass. Do you remember when Infusion you had to calculate the number before you direct?
Yes, you did.
And then you would hope that it would actually do it correctly, because sometimes it would give you one or two.
And
then you forgot to switch your loadout. And then it back. Oh my
God.
Calculate what I'm infusing into what, and it would tell me what the net number would be for that infusion at the time.
Right.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah,
because then even like when you turned it in Engram, right, it always looked at whatever your max power was as to what that could possibly turn into. So you always had to change your gear out and all that. Yep. So there's been some great quality of life things, but they need to bring back something like that. I mean, he mentions random rolls here. I mean, that's something in the summer. Weapon randomization, maybe that's gonna kind of play into that. I'm not sure.
I'm kind of excited about that. By the way, it's something that we haven't talked about a lot, but I'm excited that we're getting random rolls back, but still with a mod system. I think we're going to have so many freaking options on our guns, we're not going to know what to freaking do.
You think that would be the weapon randomization, though? Maybe it will just be...
No, that's them kind of dilly-dallying around the word of randomization, and also...
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, at this Destiny Summit, they're going to show us what they're working on and ask for feedback on how they can tweak it, I think.
Yep.
To the question of end game power or final max power and everything, I think you should be able to do anything that's end game. So as a hardcore raider, I mean, I love the raids. I wish that was one of the only ways you could get max power, but you also have Nightfalls. So those are two things on PvE side. And then for PvP, trials or events like Iron Banner, end game grinds should give end game loot.
There has to be a way. There has to be a way for, whether we like it or not, there has to be a way for the solo player to get the max level.
Mm-hmm.
But it should take a long time, because I feel like...
Agreed.
Do you guys feel like there's too many things each week? You've got 3 heroic strikes. You've got the Nightfall. Flashpoint, you can't get any more casual than that. Just show up and do public events.
Just show up, yeah.
Do you think there's too many routes to max power right now?
I do, yeah. And too many routes to max power and too many routes to exotics.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can get to max power if you don't do the end game. End game is trials, like you said, Iron Banner, those events, and raids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to get to max power if you're not playing the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
I mean, I mean, we're firm believers that, here's the thing with the prestige raid, and we battled this a lot. A lot of the other people weren't doing prestige because there was no value in it for them. They got the purple glowy armor, but there was no guns. All you got was the armor. Yeah. And so they were telling the community, hey, it's not worth doing prestige. And I don't think you ever want to get to that mentality. We kept doing prestige because it was a challenge, and that's all we needed. It was a challenge to stay alive. And this was back before they dropped it.
When it was still 330.
25% free damage, and they made it easier. And we loved it. We loved to feel the pain, and we didn't have a problem doing a 4-hour raid because it was fun for us. And everybody was out there, oh, it's not worth it. Well, why don't you do prestige? Oh, because it's not worth. Well, bullshit. You don't want to get stuck in a 9-hour raid. I get it.
It's the combination of the two. If it was really difficult, but it was also worth it, people might spend the time to do it.
Right.
But it was too hard for them, and they had no incentive to try to actually do it.
Yeah.
But there should be some just crazy good loot for finishing a prestige raid, and I think that they should have strike magnifiers for the raid. If you want to go past what they give it at, give me a card that I can
like a challenge
set the
card?
difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah, challenge card for raids. I know they want to do this procured loadouts. I think that's negative. I think that's going to make people not do it at all. If you make me go use a sidearm to go battle Callus, I'm going to be pissed off and go, nah, I'll skip it this week.
I'll skip this week,
So those, I don't think you ever want to get into that situation. But if it's a challenge card, and the challenge is, hey, you can do this with a sidearm, and you get this. Hey, I'm down. I'm down to do it all. I'll take a friggin' Rat King.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. Well, it's funny you say that of people just looking for the incentive. I mean, I would consider myself for the first 2 years or 3 years of Destiny, all the way up until Destiny 2, I was raiding almost every week, right, Caleb? I mean, we ran the raid. We had a raid group, and there was always that incentive to get the loot. We were teaching people the raids and that. And then with Destiny 2, I think we ran the raid maybe 3-4 times, and it was just the incentive wasn't there. I got the full set, and the weapons, and we're kind of like, we're in our clan, so you're getting the weapons anyways from your clan drops every week. And it was like, you know what? I just don't need to go through this like I used to. And that it just kind of, I don't want to say depressed me, but it was like, oh, man. So that's why I kept telling Sean, I'm like, dude,
you didn't have that burning desire of today's raid day.
Yep.
We got to, okay.
I just kind of lost it. I don't know what it was with Destiny 2. But then, of course, the layer comes out. And by that point, all our friends that we would raid with were gone. And so I kept telling Sean, I'm like, man, we gotta do the layer. We gotta do the layer. And then he's like, let me hook you up with the WTFGameNation guys. They'll teach you through it. And so that's when we ran through. And man, I was like so happy that next day I was like, man, that was so much fun. Like finally
It's
just
fun.
raiding again. I haven't
Nothing
done
like
that
raiding,
in
man.
so long, man.
I just wish they'd take the front half of that out, the little cylinders, and just cut it.
Yeah.
Edit that part. Let's just go right to the fight.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah, I could see that. But all right, let's move on here. Next email comes to us from Paul, and he says, hey, Guardian Radio, long-time listener. He says he started playing, he thinks, in October of launch, and he's from Bife's side of the pond. He said a few thoughts on seemingly simple ideas that can improve Destiny. And remember, again, we asked you guys for some thoughts for the summit this week, so I think that's what prompted this email. Number 1, legendary blueprints. He said available from Bungie would allow you to get back any legendary you have received. It would make the vault space bearable and deleting items easier, but means that when the meta changes, you could spend some kind of in-game currency to get it back.
That's a great idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've deleted Sean, a couple of Sean's favorite guns, and I deleted them when I was at a point where I couldn't even play the game because my vault was full and my postmaster was full because that was my secondary vault. And I couldn't play because if I picked something up, I couldn't get it. So I finally just bit the bullet and went and started deleting a bunch of stuff. And I deleted stuff that now that the meta changed, I wish I hadn't deleted. And if I had this thing where I could go back to Banshee and go, you know what, I deleted that. Let me buy that blueprint back and make it again. This is a brilliant idea. Love
I'm
it.
wondering if the gear collections that's on the roadmap for September somehow ties into that.
Something
Like if
funny.
they had like the manufacturer collection of, let's say it was a Suros collection, and then it was all the possible Suros weapons, and if you've got it, you can go back at any point and buy it, and that's going to kind of fix, the vault issue. I don't know.
I think it's not a bad idea. It definitely has to cost something, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Yep.
Just like
we have way
exotics do
too
now.
much material right now,
Yeah.
I just spend some of that material and you can repurchase it.
And even make it where it's not max level. I mean, you just like the exotics right now, how you can go and repurchase an exotic, it just drops at a 200 or whatever, and then you need to infuse it up at that point. Let's see. He says separate Crucible playlists. He says have separate playlists each week. Could be rotating as well as combined one. Could match make that combined one with the specific ones as they rotated, but show the player population wait times below each list so you can make use of your time wisely. He says Overwatch shows expected time to matchmake, but could include player count or just red, yellow, green light system if the data were too granular for Bungie to be comfortable exposing. I mean, I remember they had this in I think even, I want to say as far back as Halo 2 maybe even, but I know Halo 3 had that. You could see the population in each playlist. But
Could
again,
you tie it into the faction rally stuff? Let them vote what they want for the changeover.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last week about voting for maps I think that's something that would be well received because that happens in a number of different games. I think that would be good. They're never going to show an exact population list.
Yeah, no.
I mean numbers, but the red, yellow, green light thing isn't bad. The only problem with that is at some point in time that'll be data mined to know exactly what those numbers are. So when it's red, when it's yellow, when it's green, you know what the window is of amount of people. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I think the playlist thing where you vote is good.
Yep. Let's see, tangible bounties. He says, I like the effort of getting bounties and seeing their progress. The current system feels too accidental. Another bounty done. Rather than, let's do this activity so I complete this bounty. He says, I understand what they were trying to do, but making them passive rather than active has reduced his engagement with them. Thanks for the continued positivity. Paul, a.k.a. Monkey Boy _1974 on the PS4. Exo Warlock. He says Master Race. I don't say that.
Notice that I didn't
disagree.
put Titans. The first one was an Exo Hunter.
I highly
This one
disagree.
is an Exo Warlock. I always get blamed for only putting Titans in the emails.
Dude, Dawnblade is the shit right now, man.
It is pretty good, though,
Everything.
Sean, I will say.
I think we need to
Everything.
tighten those filters, guys. Sorry.
Did you say Titan?
Yes.
I did say tighten.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Sean, you were completely outnumbered right here, man.
I know. But it's all Titans and one Warlock here.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier when with the challenges being accidental kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think if there was a reason why you wanted to do the challenge, you know, like some sort of XP thing you could turn in, I think you would be tracking it a little bit more.
You'd actually look at it, you mean? Like
You'd actually look at it.
I don't even look at it.
I
I
don't
just see
even
it popped
look
up
at it
like you completed it. Like, oh, cool.
And
all
I
right, that's
totally
neat.
like the way you said that, an accident. Oh, hey, look, it just popped up. That I've done that many times.
exactly
but
how it is.
It's because there's no reason why I want it.
Right.
I've been doing them just lately because I'm hoarding tokens for when the next DLC comes out. Not that I think the destinations will get new gear, but if I want to hoard Masterwork cores, just in case, that's a big thing I think is, you know, let's say they go to I'll keep this short. They go to randomization of weapons, right?
Easy for you to say.
Make all of the destinations viable. You know what I mean? Give them all something so that it gives you a reason to explore every area of the entire world and stuff like that with either bounties or with certain weapon types. I mean, sometimes Failsafe has some great weapons to buy every Wednesday. You know what I mean? But in fact, when Curse of Osiris came out, none of the destination vendors were fresh. So I'm holding on to mine just to cash them in after Warmind to see, well, I probably won't get anything new, which I know that already. But if I can get a bunch of Masterwork cores, because right now we don't know how many Masterwork cores it'll take, which I hope is a lot, to turn a exotic into a Masterwork, you know?
All I can say is if they do it with Benedict, you guys are in trouble.
Yep.
I think I have 5,000 of those tokens.
I was going to ask you because I have 2 stacks at 999. I wanted to know, what do you guys have sitting on your character?
I got 5 stacks on each of my characters.
Oh,
I have 2,000 to 3,000 on each character, and that's because I spent a lot when Curse of Osiris came out to help me level up.
Oh, my goodness,
funny,
man.
man.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well,
Let's see, final email.
We have about 700 raids done now, so.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. Let's see, final email comes to us from Jim, and he says, hey, guys, you asked for discussion points for the summit, so here's my penny's worth. He says the topic of weapon armor depth, which is something that I'm not seeing a great deal of discussion about, so I hope it doesn't get missed. He says arguably the best hand cannon in D2 is the Better Devils because of explosive rounds, and arguably the best hand cannon in D1 is the Fatebringer because of explosive rounds and Outlaw and Firefly. The point is, weapons were so much more diverse in Destiny 1, not only due to random rolls, but also due to the fact that they could have 3 main perks, plus their barrel sight options. This resulted in perk synergy on the best rolls. Raid Trials weapons in D2 are the closest we have to this system, but even they only have 2 perks. He said the same goes for armor. Gloves, for example. I used to stress about whether to have faster reload for my scout or my shotgun, and whether I wanted to increase my melee speed or to throw grenades further. He says great problems to have. The 1 mod slot we have now just doesn't compare to that depth. Anyway, that's it. I hope you get a chance to talk to someone at Bungie about it. Thanks so much, Jim Wildman, Xbox gamertag Dingo Steel. He's an Exo Warlock.
The Dingo
Done.
HO Warlock.
Dingo.
Dawnblade, yes.
I think he kind of nails it right there, right?
Yeah.
Just the weapons don't have enough perks. There's nothing diverse
Yeah, we were
enough
talking about that too. Add an extra one for prestige stuff and trials stuff.
I was a big Better Devils
Or
user
2.
until 1.1.4. And Better Devils is still great, kind of like we were talking about earlier. Nothing is really nerfed into extinction, but I've been using Midnight Coup, and the D.F.A is really nice because Rampage right now is so good.
It's really strong.
Yeah, so I've been actually enjoying that over explosive rounds. But yeah, we need more diversity in perks by far, and we know there's this mod 2.0 thing. We know there's weapon randomization. I mean, they're vague titles. Yeah, we're hoping there's more
potential, man.
Yeah,
when they announced mods originally, I was like, that's perfect. This is going to be so great. We're going to be able to modify how our guns are, what we want, our play style, everything. It's just got such good potential, and they came up short. But hopefully with 2.0, with the different roles and the mods, I think, man, my fingers are crossed, man, because it really could be awesome. You know,
can we have more than one bullet? More than one?
Per magazine, more than 10%.
Yeah,
that only works on a hand cannon with 9 shots. That 10th shot really makes a difference. But for
Let's
everything
go
else,
bigger. Let's go bigger. Let's go bigger. Space Frogs.
I'd be hard pressed to come up with perks. Do you remember we got to that point where the base game had our favorite perks, right? Outlaw, Firefly, Reactive Reload, and all that stuff. Then I think it was when House of Wolves came out. That's when we started getting all the weird ones, like what was it? Last Resort and all these Grave Robber and
Gorilla Fighter or whatever.
Gorilla Fighter, yeah.
Gorilla Fighter.
That was another one. I do hope we get better.
Take a knee.
Take a knee, yeah.
Take a knee. Dude. I don't know. I think those were done by the same guy that gave you the giving hand. You know what I mean?
There's
definitely more
a lot
perks,
of those
better perks, and if we could create, like I always say, Banshee is there. He's a great person or a resource they could turn into something with, like bring over some division type stuff where you bring blueprints to him and you craft your own weapon. And to do that, you got to do 2 weeks worth of grinding to get let's say, I bring up my Wounded from D1, my Scout Rifle that was like a Vision of Confluence, but full auto Firefly Outlaw. But if I grinded through Banshee and, went through a quest with this blueprint or schematic or something, and then at the end of it, he rewards me with the shiny new, I could smell the new gun smell on it. That's a dumb joke. Peel the plastic off, you know what I mean? Like, they really got to use Banshee a little bit more than just selling those mods right now. They got some on their hands, but they could use him as like
test weapons. Those things were good. Just come out with some.
I forgot about those, man.
I mean,
Arms.
Let Bungie use that as
Sean, how did you forget about Arms Day?
I know, right?
That's you, man.
The only guy that
anybody thinks about Arms Day, it's you, Sean.
Was it like
I remember at the Rise of
7th
Iron
the month or whatever the thing came out.
And I did those videos every Wednesday for 3 years straight. And I remember at the Rise of Iron event, I asked Chris Rivera, I was like, is Banshee by any chance getting a refresh? And he's like, no. So I was like, oh, man. But that was one of my, folks loved that series. I would stay up till 7 in the morning every Wednesday and go, 'tis Arms Day.
The funny thing is, Mark and I usually got on at 5.
Yeah.
And we would see that Sean is on. And we would invite Sean, and he's like, dudes, I'm just waiting for this stupid thing to come up so I can make this video. I can't play. I'm dying.
That changed my life, man, because I'd have to wait. I'd stay up for the 5 a.m. reset on Tuesdays, Arms Day on Wednesdays, and then Fridays was Xur. And now it's at 1 p.m. It's like,
that's great.
I actually sleep.
You had to level up your weapons through XP or something like that, but you didn't want to spend the amount of time to figure out if you liked the perk. And Banshee had test weapons with that perk on it. They would actually have a purpose. People would be going over him for more than right now.
See what the effect was.
Right now, he's a glimmer sink. That's the only reason why you go to Banshee. Right. It's for mods.
By mods, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, let's be fair. We just really want Eververse to sell everything for us come May 8th, right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what Eververse is?
See if we go over your head like that.
Come on. You get K-Dub over there. He's willing to drop $50 a week because he doesn't have time to
Go,
play.
baby. I spent $70 on Pokemon Go last week, man.
Dude, I keep trying to spend money on that. My wife won't let me.
She won't let you.
No, you got to grind it. You don't have to buy any of that. You just go out. Nah.
All right. I'm a hardcore Pokemon Go
player.
player.
Yes, she is.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Remember, if you want to email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com. We love giving you a voice here on the show. So email us And next week, I'm going to say we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm not quite sure how much we will have to talk about with the summit, but of course myself, Sean, and Toast will be there, the three of us, as well as many other people. I'm sure you're going to see all kinds of tweets here in the coming days. Again, to remind people, the summit is actually Thursday and Friday are the actual summit days. So keep it locked to our Twitter feed, Sean's Twitter feed, WTFGameNation. I don't know what you're going to be doing, if you're going to be tweeting things out or, what's going to be going
probably.
on. We'll see. Just keep it locked to us, and as well as the rest of the Destiny community. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things kind of coming out about it. But we'll be talking as much as we can next week. And when is the 24th? That's going to be Tuesday?
It's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Okay, so we will be recording a podcast on Monday.
Yep.
Although, do we maybe want to wait till Tuesday, guys, next week? Well, Sean, you can't, right? Because the reset, so that won't be a good.
Yeah.
So we'll do it Monday. We'll do it Monday, and then
plus
we'll talk about the summit the following week.
I'll be streaming the live stream because I always get permission from Activision as long as I'm talking in between things, whatever. So I'll be streaming the Bungie stream on my YouTube channel right here. So keep it locked in here.
But
And I think it's Shawnee. Maybe we'll do our little stream that we do when it pops live, and the stream, and maybe talk about that in the trailer, because they're gonna open that stream with the trailer.
Definitely.
Yeah. And they'll end it with the trailer too.
Yep. Like they always do. But Peanut and Toast, thank you guys here for stopping by,
Guys,
man.
thanks for being on the
Absolute
show.
honor, man.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you
We
guys
need
so
to
much for the time.
go ahead and give the social plugs and all that for everybody, even though would think it's pretty obvious. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you.
We share accounts everywhere, but it's WTF Game Nation everywhere. Only social media we do is on Twitter. You can also find us mainly on twitch.tv/WTFGameNation, and we're on YouTube on WTF Game Nation as well. We're actually starting to put some tutorials on how we do the Prestige raid.
Awesome.
And as time
They're
goes
very
on, we'll
good.
be adding more tutorials too.
Sweet.
Cool. And what times do
Awesome.
you guys stream, too? Give everybody the schedule.
We stream 6 days a week. We stream Monday through Saturday, usually in the evening. We do some earlier streams, we stream at Reset. Saturday is usually an all-day kind of thing, but usually 4 p.m. Pacific. But we always tweet out when we go live as well.
It'd be harder to find us offline. Than
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well,
I
thank
guess
you as
that's it.
always here for making. Or Sean, you got something?
No.
Nope.
I was just going to say,
All right.
awesome having you guys on, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Hey, I enjoyed hanging out in K-Dub's closet, man. It was cool.
Yo, baby, come on in.
Mark,
We can all fit
Mark,
in here, man. I got plenty of room.
are you married, Mark?
I am, yes. Married with 2 kids.
I don't know that my wife would let me have a shelf like that with all that nerdy stuff,
I know,
with the
see
Star
that, dude.
Wars and the.
I love
My
it.
wife,
I
man,
love the
always
flag,
best.
though, brother. I love it.
Yeah.
Good.
My
It's
brother's
actually,
in the Air
that's
Force
my
right now,
my
man.
501st helmet, man. I'm a member of the Star Wars 501st, so that is an official screen accurate helmet. I got the whole get up.
cool.
Get the
So
whole gig.
Wow.
The whole
Yeah, man.
gig, dude. Yep.
yep.
I love nerds,
Your
man. They're
wife's a
great.
saint. Your wife's a saint, man.
Dude, my wife, she's this close to her Imperial officer costume, man. This close. She's this close,
That's
dude.
awesome, dude. That's
great.
awesome. My daughter would love that Captain America shield, by the way.
We've actually talked about doing a stream of me playing Battlefront 2 in the trooper outfit and her just yelling at me the whole time, as the officer, behind me.
That's awesome.
Yep. But all right, well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Everybody, thank you as always for making us a part of your week. However you're tuning in with us through iTunes, through Podbean, through your podcast service of choice, or over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And with that, we'll catch you guys next week. Death groans, guys. Death groans.
Awesome. Def.
I think I just lost my spleen.
He did.
Good stream. All right, chat. Everybody, thanks for hanging out,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
You guys
it.
are-
All right, so
I'll be
I'll stop the stream, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you later.